Hey, it's Jerry from the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today on the show, we have Mr. Brian Town with Michigan Creative. How you doing today, Brian?
What's up, Jerry? It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too. I can tell you're in your office, right?
Oh yeah, yep. We're over in Rio Town, not too far from you, man. Well,
Yeah.
are you over there at the Fledge right now?
Yes. Yep. So I think we're about a mile and a half away from you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I can tell from that gritty exposed brick that's
It's your
behind
classic
you.
marketing company office, right? Exposed brick. You can see our HVAC system, wood floors. It's all kinds of.
You like my ceiling? You can see the poor as shit incubator look.
Was that 2x6-ish kind of? Yeah. That's good, man. I like it. I like the art though. The art is classic, and it's not the building, dude. It's the people in it. Here's the church.
Well, we're on a journey, Yeah, the church and the steeple. Let's catch up. But first, let's tell some people about you and about Michigan Creative. Not everyone that listens to my show might know you.
Yeah, man. So it's a long history, but it's good. I was a high school educator forever, 17 years.
Two of your students are in my sanctuary right now.
Oh yeah, who's that?
The Kellys, Ezra and the Kellys.
Oh yeah.
The twins, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I forgot about that.
Dude. No, I keep running into former students. I got two that work here for me right now. But yeah, I taught at Hazlitt High School for 13 years, an educator for 17 years, and then one day decided, like a dumbass, to quit a regular paying job and start a company, and quit on that Friday sometime in August and started a company over at the Tick in East Lansing that next Monday, and that was 9 years ago, man. And now we're in Rio Town, and it's funny because it was like that first month I was like, hey man, I got an office, I've got my own company. I'm like, look at me, I'm an entrepreneur, this is great. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Who in their right mind? And sometimes I still think that today, like, who in their right mind would run a small business? Like,
you're making me think back of when I quit my job and my wife said, who in their right mind quits a job like that? Because I was like a VP of equality.
Yeah.
But that was 22 years ago. Oh my God.
Yeah, man, I had a maid. I mean, I had a pretty good salary. I had great kids. I was teaching TV production. I just, I don't know what it was, man. I got to that point in my life where I was just like, either I'm going to keep going and I'm just going to be a retired teacher, nothing wrong with that, or I'm going to do something else. And, as much as I joke about it and say how hard it's been, and some days are better than others, like, I'm really glad I did it. There were some things that I would have done differently that we can definitely talk about. But here we are today. We're 11-person strong company. We've got an office here in Rio Town in Lansing. We've got a sister company in Richmond, Virginia, and I've got one of my employees that lives there. We'll soon have somebody that'll be working remote in Boulder, Colorado. So we'll be expanding out that way. And really what we are is, I used to tell people we're a full service marketing company because on paper that's what we are. But my goal has always been, Jerry, from day one, is I'm trying to build a company so that I can have people that have the best job they've ever had. They could have a lifelong career here, and they can become wealthy. I mean, that's been my mission from day one, is to have people that have the best job they've ever had, to have them be leaders in the company, and to make all of them as wealthy as I possibly can. And that's great, but that takes sales, that takes process, that takes doing really good work. And I think, we're really being come to known, or at least I hope we are, as a problem solving company. It's my favorite thing to do. One of our core values is every problem has a solution. And I got that from education. It just seemed like, at the time, educators, and maybe this is how it is now, there was a lot of complaining about things that weren't good, but no one really wanted to be part of a solution. And so I never wanted to be that. My employees are not allowed to complain unless they have a solution for it. And we've had to kind of explain it to some new employees. They're like, so listen, man, one of your core values is every problem has a solution. Does that mean I can't ask Brian for help? And it doesn't mean that. It's just, I want you to screw it up. Like, I want you to figure it out, screw it up, try again. And if you get stuck and you need help, ask for help. But if you're going to bitch and complain, the next words out of your mouth better be, but here's what I'm going to do about it. And so, that's what I want people to see us as a creative company that solves problems. Now, that being said, we do branding, we do marketing, we do video. We've got a team of 10 that we do everything in-house. And we stuck to our guns, man, over all the COVID stuff and over the last couple of years of some tough financial times for us as a company. We stuck to it, man. We kept everybody, and now we are truly full service with starting to be some seasoned folks here. We're not the new kids on the block anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back like 5 years or so, and when we first started working with you, like through Leap, maybe it was 6 or 7 years ago, actually, and how. I thought your employees were always really gung-ho and really enthusiastic, and they always seemed like they were young kids that were just getting started. They must be getting older by now, huh?
Yeah, they are. We've got some people that are seasoned. I'm still the oldest one here, but we've got some people that we actually have somebody that's in their 40s now and somebody that's in their mid 30s. I mean, that's in the mid late 20s used to be really old for us. And
yeah.
But we still, we've got some people that have been with me almost the whole time. So 8-9 years. We've got some other people that have been here 5-6 years. And we do have some young folks, though, like our 2 video producers right now that are going into these multi-million-dollar companies and shooting video are 23 and 24, respectively. And Chloe, female video producer, is the head of the whole department, and she's killer. I wouldn't trade her for anybody in the industry right now. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to think about it because, like, we do bring these young kids and, we were shooting for Wieland, a big construction company the other day, and Patrick came. He's our new video guy. And the guy was like, "Is that your son? Did you bring your son with you?" I'm like, I go, "Well, yeah, he could be my son, but he's not. He's actually an employee." So, but yeah, man, I mean, I think we're starting to screw things up a little bit less. I think the business process, the financial processes, all the business stuff that I was like, we don't need that. We're a creative company. We're small startup. We'll figure that out. All that stuff we have now and see the importance and value of it. And just on this last year, I can really feel a difference because of that.
You rattled off a few like values that you had in the beginning, or like what you wanted your employees to experience, like the best job they ever had and to be able to get wealthy. Do you monitor that? Do you survey? How do you make sure that's happening?
Yeah. So that was another thing that I was like, because being a creative person, and if you know me, Jerry, like I'm not organized. I don't like process. I just kind of want to figure it out. But over the last couple of years, we've been doing the entrepreneur operating system, and we have our core values that are our only rules here. And so part of our every 3 months, we do reviews for our employees, which a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm not going to review employees. That's corporate BS, But yeah, we do have reviews, and we do have a plus minus system and an out of 5 system, and we do check where they are on their personal finances. We do check where they are on their personal goals, and we do check where they are on their professional goals too. So yeah, man, there's checks and balances, and we hold people accountable. And if they need help, part of their personal goals in there is I want them to put stuff on there that I can help them with. And so a couple of good examples would be Brooke, who's been with me for almost 5 years now. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, she was like 19 or 20, didn't have her driver's license. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have your driver's license? And she's like, yeah, I just never got around to get my driver's license. I'm like, this bullshit. Said, you're going to put a goal on there that you're going to take the test. You're going to do all your hours and you're going to pass the driver's license test. And then once you do, I'm going to give you $500 to put towards your new car. And so not only was I holding her accountable, so she'd come in every day. I'd be like, hey man, how many hours did you drive? And she's like, oh, I didn't. I'm like, all right, let's go. And so she ended up passing and then got her license. And then shortly thereafter, she's like, hey, man, do you remember that $500? I'm like, yes, I do. So it's those kind of things that, you've heard all that. If you have goals, Jerry, that's great. If you have goals and you write them down, that's good. If you have goals and you write them down and you share them with somebody else, you're going to get them done. Because we'll give you shit if you don't do them. And so, yeah, we have a system, and it's funny because it works.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you just opened up a million things I want to talk to you about, because you said values, not rules, right? I mean, you did kind of slip that in there. You don't have rules. You just live from your values. We're a big advocate of that, a big fan of no rules, and replacing them with values. Ever since COVID, I've been reminding everybody that no rules is important, but you got to wear a mask. Yeah. So how do you it's weird now. Yeah. But when you eliminate rules, people get more honest. And I really admire you for doing that. It's a great thing to do for your employees. There's a bunch of other things. So we're going to have to do 3 shows, I think.
Yeah, man, that's fine. I can really quick. I can kind of tell you how it's worked, not just in the every problem has a solution, but another one of our 4 core values really allow us to review every employee. And I think that every problem has a solution means that if you bitch and complain a lot and you don't solve problems on your own, because I'm trying to create leaders, and good leaders solve problems. And so, that's going to be something that I'm going to say, hey man, every time I asked you to do something, you were complaining about it. So I can't score you very high on this one. And then the other one is everyone that you come in contact with should have a better day. That's one of our rules. That anytime inside of here or outside of here, everyone that comes in contact with you should have a better day because they met you. And that goes, I mean, who knows how far that could go. And even like today, look up and smile at somebody or squint your eyes so they can see you're smiling behind your mask. And that allows me to really enforce a rule of, like, when you come in here, man, like, I don't need your attitude. I don't need your catty stuff back and forth. That's just not going to work here. And so really it's a way for me to sort of have rules, but empower people to be better, I guess. I don't know.
I just, I was looking at the comments. Aubrey says rules are boxes, values are freedom. So I think that's a spectacular phrase there.
Yeah, I love
that. And let's see. One of the things that we ask everybody is, what do you do every damn day that kind of pushes things forward towards your mission or towards your values or what have you?
Yeah. So every damn day, and this is advice I would give, I didn't used to give, but now I give to every person that wants to start a business, is where is the next sale going to come from? And that sounds greedy and that sounds corporate-y, but shit, you can't have a good culture. You can't have a good home for your employees. You can't do what you want to do if you don't have sales. And that's something we didn't focus on. I just thought culture was the most important thing, and the sales would just come, because they were kind of at first. When we had 4 or 5 people, we were just kind of getting some sales and we could function. But when you got 10 mouths to feed, every damn day I'm thinking about, who am I going to call as a CEO? Who am I going to ask for a referral from? Who am I going to email? What proposal am I going to write? And I try to do that multiple times a day, but at least once per day, is figure out where is that next sale going to come from. And you have to be thinking about that, because you're not going to be able to do anything else that you want to do. It's got to be first and foremost in your mind all the time.
You probably went through some feast and famine when you got started in the beginning.
Shit, in the beginning.
Or last week.
Yeah, last week. No, yeah, man, last year, before COVID, that November, I mean, there was lots of times last year, man, that I didn't want to get out of bed. And I think there's a lot of people that will listen to this that are business owners that you and I think are very successful on the surface, are going, yep, because there's some times in there when you got you got payroll coming up on Friday, you got bills you got to pay, you don't know where this is going to come from, and then you're looking at the mailbox, and all of a sudden, thank God there's a check you got through payroll. But I'm telling you, there were some times when, lots of times, my wife will tell you, there's times when I didn't want to get out of bed, just absolutely didn't want to, but I didn't have a choice. Like I can't hide from people here, and so yeah, man, I think this last couple months have been really good. But yeah, I think it's something that, and it's funny because I ask all business owners, how do you deal with that? And all they say is, you gotta keep doing it, man. And or they'll just laugh and they'll go, 10 people, imagine 100 people,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Everyone thinks being an entrepreneur is being your own boss, and it's easy, and it's all jets and all this crap. And it's everyone's your boss once you're the CEO. So.
Yeah, it's the employee stuff that's not too bad. But at the end of the day, if there's an issue, or if a client's not happy, or if I have to, Jerry, I never thought I'd have to fire, I don't know, 6 people in my career. I always thought, shit, I'm never gonna have to fire anybody. But I've had to do that. And, and when the phone rings, like I was just telling somebody this today, like when a client emails me and goes, hey, do you got a second? I got to talk. And maybe I'm not project manager. I might've sold the deal or whatever. I'm not directly involved day to day. It kind of makes me go, oh boy. Because if they want to talk to me, sometimes it's not, usually it's sometimes like, hey, I just want to let you know. And the last 4 times this week, I still dreaded it. I'm like, oh boy, I got to call Sam over at AK. She needs something. And she was like, hey, just no big deal. I'm like, sorry, I missed your call this morning. She's like, no big deal. I was just talking to my partners in Novi, and they asked if we knew anybody that could do video. And I said, we do. And, what are you guys doing in November? And so I was like worried that it was going to be a bad call, and it was actually a good call.
Yeah. So yesterday on the show, I had somebody named Ryan Miller, who I don't think this gentleman, and he's moved to Madison recently. But he's starting a project called Men's Resiliency, and it's kind of examining toxic masculinity and all this stuff. But he was tasked with asking you a question, and his question for you is, what role do you see creativity playing in people's lives? Why is it important?
Yeah, I love that question, and that's part of our core values. And I think one of the things that our core value is, we live to create. And it's not just that we do creative graphics and creative websites and video, but I think everybody in this office right now has that creative mind, right? And over the course of our lifetime, from kindergarten on, that creative spirit is ground out of us, right? And we're taught that we got to fit in this bucket, and we got to do this test. And my daughter, Cora, who's 6, thankfully she's in a school that fosters creativity. But, that girl, you could play with a stick and a rock with her for 12 hours and she would never get bored with it, right? I mean, they're just creative creatures, right? But slowly we learn to get that beat out of us through education, right? It's got to do this, we got to do this, and we got to take this standardized test. So what I tell people here is that creative thought process that you have is a gift, and a lot of people, we take it for granted because we wake up that way. A lot of people don't have it, and so I think not just in creative arts or creative graphics, but it's also in the creative thinking process that we can solve problems better than somebody else that doesn't have that in them. And so I think all of us, everyone, should take time every day, once a week, to do something. Even if you're not, see, a lot of people think, well, I'm not very creative because I can't paint, I can't sing, I can't do all this stuff. But being creative is a lot more than that. And I think if everybody took a minute, to do something, read a book about somebody who's creative, read a book about a painter, listen to a song, go to an art museum, do something that is that creative problem solving, creative thought process, I think we'd be better for it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, the creatives are so important, especially in this economy, and especially times like today. You know, you've got to be creative when you're trying to solve a problem related to COVID that hit you one day. You know, you wake up and everything's shut down and all this.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that about creatives too, and just in the economy. But like, it's so funny. I read this article that said, if you want to find places that are going to be the next up and coming places, start to look where the creative folks go first, because then you're going to start to see other things opening up. And boy, has that happened here in our town. So if you look at Old Town 15, 20 years ago, who were the first people in there? If you look at Rio Town, who's down here in Rio Town, and what are they doing? There's creative food places down here. There's the art gallery. There's the Robin Theater. Those places were here. And now it's starting. More people are coming down here because all the crazy creative folks came down here first, and made a run at it. Because we don't need much. We don't need fancy stuff. We just need, a place to kind of do our thing. And it's so true in all communities. If you start to look where you're going to see like an art gallery, or you might see a pottery studio, or you might see a Fledge, start to look for these kind of places where the crazy kooky ones are. And those are going to be the places that are going to be something in the next few years.
This is where I throw up my East Side Gang sign and give a shout out to all my creatives on the East Side over here.
Yeah, it's important. It's valuable.
Yeah. I do think, they say it's a creative economy, and most people don't understand that, and most people don't really embrace that, but it truly is. I mean, tech even comes from the creatives. iPhone and Apple and their whole strategy is the creatives,
Yeah.
So I'm proud to know you, man.
Yeah, man. I tell you, I miss you. I wish you and we're dangerous together. I would love to hang out with you more often.
Well, we'll figure that out. But tomorrow on the show, I have Sarah Wallace, who is an artist, and I've got to ask you to ask her a question. So, what question would you like to ask Sarah Wallace?
Even though I'm a creative person, like you should see my paintings. I'm trying. It's not. My 6-year-old and I are very similar in style, and time period. But what I'd like her to say is to somebody like somebody who's not artistically creative, or somebody who's not creative at all. Why do the visual arts, or why do arts in general? Why are they important to have in a community? We see the murals underneath the bridge and the murals on the new Meyer Market. Like, besides looking cool, like what place does art play in a community, and why should the average person be thankful that it's there? Because I think a lot of people don't even know, when they see a mural or they see something on there, the average person probably doesn't know why it's there, or who did it. It just assumes that it was part of it. So yeah, I think that would be a good question.
I think she'll love answering that question. Yeah. And I'm going to sort of flip that back on you, but instead of asking the whole question, I'm going to ask you a piece of the question. Why would a mural be important? So in that parking lot in Rio Town, where all those guys did the murals, all those people, and why is that mural important?
Yeah, I think I think there's two reasons. I think the easiest answer is placemaking. I think that what that does, I can tell you that brings people down here that would never come to Rio Town, and simply because they're looking for a cool spot to take a photo. And so if they came down here, I've seen several young people out there taking their senior pictures, and start to look on Facebook, and you'll start to recognize right away, oh yeah, they're in Rio Town. So I think it really makes people come down here, and then they might happen to see one of the shops down here, and they might happen to go, oh shit, there's a record store down here. And right there, who knows? I mean, maybe that brought another $60 that minute they were down here to Rio Town, and that matters. So I think that's important. And then two, I think it tells a story. It could tell a cultural story. I think if you look in Detroit over by the Eastern Market, there's a lot of murals there that really tell a very I don't want to say dark, but dark and inspirational story because we're doing some work for some companies down there that work with people of sexual assault violence. And there's a lot of murals down there that really tell a good, powerful story that comes from a place of darkness. And so I think, it's placemaking and it's storytelling for the community. And I think if those are the only two things those murals do, I'm good.
Oh, I love it. I think that's a very, very good answer. And shit, we should probably be at that placemaking summit today, shouldn't we?
Oh, is that today?
Or
Is that virtual? I always want to go to those, but I don't feel cool enough to be at them. So
yeah, I'm definitely not cool enough. And Jose's the MC, and it's just going to make me not feel any cooler and all that stuff. Jose Moore. Yeah. So I'm going to take care of a little bit of housekeeping on my own side. Every Damn Day airs every damn day at 2 p.m. Please subscribe to the Fledge's YouTube channel to see more about Every Damn Day, 99 Problems, but a Pitch Ain't One, which is the next one is Sunday at 3 p.m. And we've got a new thing that we started yesterday called 10,000 Fledges, where we're describing our 20-year effort to create 10,000 Fledges around the world. So, yeah, check out our YouTube video. I think we're fail forwarding fast. So now that that's over, what you want to take us out with? Anything?
I think I'd like to go back to like our core values and, really talk about, I think we get so wrapped up in all the stuff that's happening. And I think I wrote an article about this. I think we sometimes forget that there's a lot of good stuff that's going on. Not that there's not change that we got to make, and there's plenty of stuff I don't like right now. But I think there's a lot of good things that are happening too. And I think being that positive force and being that extra hand and opening a door for somebody and helping somebody out, I mean, goes a long way. Right now, it always goes a long way, but look somebody in the eye, shake their hand, open their door, do just something little. Like, I think right now that's something that we can all do collectively. And I think good stuff's happening all over the place. Like, we get so locked into watching the news and, get off Facebook and there's a lot of good things. And we sometimes feel almost frozen that we can't do anything right now because there's so much bad things going on, and that's where we can't get. So I think now we need to keep helping. I think we need to keep positive and try to move forward. Like, it sucks, man. I tell you, I would wake up sometimes and go, Jesus, is this ever going to be over? Are we ever going to get out of this, man? And it's once in a while, I honestly, I'll feel that way again, but we will get out of it. And, as a leader, I got to be the one that's every day telling my employees that same thing, because some of them are at home working right now and some are here, and we're working hard, man. It's tough. So I think, that to me, everyone you come in contact with should have a better day. If you guys could focus on that, that'd be good.
Yeah, I love that one. And it is going to get better because we've got the creatives and the innovators and the entrepreneurs out there solving problems that are sustainable and relevant to our community. So thanks for being in our community, Brian. Love you lots, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, love you too, man. Thanks, Jerry.